Hello again, everybody. Zack Attack is here with my TNA Impact Wrestling review for this evening, Thursday, February 27th, 2014. Interesting night of wrestling tonight. Not only was the night TNA, but also opposing TNA tonight was WWE Network's first live streaming in-ring event, the NXT Arrival. I did watch a little bit of that before Impact aired, including the Sami Zayn Cesaro match. Very great match tonight. I didn't see the whole thing as I was dedicated to watching TNA. I'll watch the rest on the network later. Especially I found out there was some technical difficulties. You know, they got some kinks to work out, the network does. But once they get it working, it'll be all good. But it's all about TNA. And then TNA, knowing that it was already taped in advance, and knowing it was taking on NXT, it was an okay Impact tonight. This is the second to last week in the UK. A lot of matches made for Lockdown, including those I kind of thought would be made. If you watched last week's review, I predicted 2 matches that were officially made tonight for Impact, for Lockdown. And as you would see in the title on my video, Austin Aries would choose which team would he be a part of, as he would be the special guest referee of our main event, MVP, taking on Bobby Roode, of course, the team captains for Lethal Lockdown, still looking for new members as we would head into tonight's Impact. Speaking of Lockdown and MVP, since he is still an investor until the result of the Lethal Lockdown match, whether it's him or Team Dixie, who has control of TNA, he of course made the contract signing for the match involving the TNA World Champion Magnus, successfully defending his title last week with a little from James Storm, scoring gun on the title. That means Magnus will be the champion. To Lockdown, taking on Samoa Joe. Excuse me, I'm battling a little bit of a stuffed up allergies here. Allergies and a little bit of a cold, so bear with me here. The contract was signed, Magnus and Joe, in the cage for Lockdown for the title. Now, we've been seeing Magnus rules lately. That means no DQ, no countouts. Make that a lot of interference from the Team Dixie cronies. But Mr. MVP decided that this match against Magnus and Joe is not going to be Magnus rules. Joe rules. Tap out, submission, or knockout is the way you win this match. No escape, no pinfall, just those 3 options. And they both signed a contract, and Magnus is like, come on, Joe, don't just stand there and breathe your air. Come on, big boy. Bang. Joe just beat the crap out of Magnus, got into a little bit of a brawl before being separated by security. And of course, Joe would get some action tonight. Magnus would not be in action tonight, but Magnus may get some action as we get to Lockdown as he defends the title under Joe rules in the cage. Now, 5 or 6 years ago, Samoa Joe did win the TNA World Heavyweight Championship at Lockdown 2008 against Kurt Angle. We'll see if Joe can win the title again at Lockdown against Magnus. On the situation here, our first matchup of the evening. Speaking of Lockdown, Bobby Roode is looking for more members for Lockdown. MVP's got himself in the Wolves. And Bobby Roode was down at the start of Impact, down 3-1. And of course, American Wolves won the Tag Team Championships during a house show this past Sunday in West Virginia. So they're now the new Tag Team Champions. And the Bullmans wanted the open opportunity to get their hands on the new champs by being a part of Team Wound / Team Dixie at Lethal Lockdown. And Wound's like, I don't want losers. I want winners. So tonight, you and Bad Influence will be in a triple threat tag team match with the American Wolves. Whoever wins this match, if Bad Influence or Bullmans win, they will join Team Wound. If the Wolves win, nobody joins Wound. Wound looks for somebody else because he wants winners, not losers. If Bad Influence knew one thing, not to tag in Bullmans. Basically, that's what happened. The match basically it was a triple threat match, but ended up being a two-team match as Bad Influence was basically refusing to let Bromance in the match because they wanted the opportunity to be on Team Wood. And basically it was Bad Influence versus the American Wolves. Bromance sneaking in a little bit later, as we would see by the ending. So this is a little bit of a decent tag match, and I love both Bad Influence and the Wolves. I like both these teams. And I hope Bad Influence does get another shot at the titles one day. And I know they were former champions, and they are my favorite heel tag team. I hate Bromans and pussies. So I'm kind of glad Bromans got refused in. It's been Bad Influence. It's like, come on, boys, tag it. Yeah, no, we're not taking you in. The double team for Bad Influence. Great tagging it out between both of them. Wolves, same thing. They tagged each other in because you could tag in anybody from any team. But like I said, Bad Influence tagged each other in. Saving Wolves, like I said, refusing the Bromans to get an opportunity to get in the match. Until a little bit towards the match, as Eddie and Davey would take advantage following the double teamwork of the Bad Influence. They did a double teaming of their own. Look like the Wolves are going to knock out both Bad Influence and the team of Bromans. They're going to knock them both out of contention for Team Wood. But the blind tag in for Robbie E. as basically the Wolves did a double team on Cows. And then Robbie got the blind tag in, picking up the scraps. And after the Wolves did all the dirty work, like I said, blind tag for Robbie. 1, 2, 3 victory for the Bromans, stealing the victory after the Wolves did all the damage to Bad Influence, stealing that victory, and officially Bromans, by hook or crook, is going to be a part of Team Wood in Lethal Lockdown. Speaking of Lockdown, mentioned now the new team members were revealed for the Lethal Lockdown match. New matches were made. Now, I said in my Impact review last week that James Storm and Gunner, following James Storm's betrayal and the heel turn, I knew that Storm and Gunner would be involved in a match at Lockdown. Whether it was, I thought they were going to be involved in the Lethal Lockdown, be Storm on Team Dixie and Gunner on Team MVP, or in a one-on-one match. When it's official now, a one-on-one match between Storm and Gunner at Lockdown in the cage. Of course, I'm glad they went back to the every match in the steel cage match. Because the last couple of years, only a few matches were in the cage. Now, every match is a cage match again. So we would see Gunner not wanting to wait for Lockdown, wanting a piece of Storm here and now. Looking for him before the start of Impact, he was looking for him. And of course, Storm did come out, saying that indeed, the reason why I betrayed you is because I felt sick and tired of carrying you, boy. And blah, 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 blah. And like, hey, when you won that tag team title briefcase, when you beat EC3, when you defended your Piece of Fire briefcase 2 weeks ago and got the tag team title match, it felt to me a consolation prize for you taking my opportunity at the World title. So I turned my back on you. Because I don't like carrying you. You kind of made fun of Gunner's allegiance to the army. And Storm and Gunner got onto a war that later exploded into the parking lot later on in the evening. A little bit of a brawl backstage. That was kind of an interesting brawl. And before that segment happened, we did have another match. Before Storm and Gunner had a little impromptu brawl in the ring that would spill backstage. We had EC3. I thought it would be another squashing it, which it kind of was. But EC3 said, I'm going to take on one of the greatest athletes Britain's ever delivered. I thought it would be some stupid Britain guy. But I was like, wait a minute. They may bring back Rob Terry or Doug Williams. And they brought back Doug Williams, of course, former X Division champion and former tag team champion with Magnus, ironically, of course, part of the British invasion. At least I got to see them when they were a team. Or at least make an appearance on a TNA event once. I went to Slammiversary on 9, and that's when British invasion was still together. Rob Terry included. Anyway, we would see Doug Williams despite trying to recapture Doug of old, trying to go for his big moves. Of course, it would be an easy squash for EC3, delivering the 1%er in the 1, 2, 3 victory for the EC3. It's good to see Doug Williams back in there. You know, like I said, former TNA guy. I don't know, maybe it was for one night. But if it was for one night, nice to see Doug Williams back in TNA. But of course, he would lose and continued the undefeated streak for EC3, who would get involved in Kurt Angle's Hall of Fame ceremony. Speaking of new matches for Lockdown, before we get to that, speaking of squashes, on to our next match. Like I said, where we had a little Magnus Joe altercation. Magnus did not wrestle, but Joe did, as Bad Bones would take on Samoa Joe. This Bad Bones guy from Germany. 4 words for you, buddy. Joe's gonna kill you. That's exactly what Joe did. Joe just fucking beat the shit out of this guy, this Bad Bones guy. Basically sliced him up, diced him up, squashed him down, muscle buster, get a clutch. Bye-bye, Magnus. You're mine, bitch, at Lockdown. Basically, that's what he was saying as he delivered a squash victory to this Bad Bones guy. Not only saying to Bones, but saying to Magnus, Joe's gonna kill you. Joe's gonna kill you. Anyway, like I said, we have Kurt Angle finally getting into TNA Hall of Fame. Like he's been refusing to enter. He was announced back at Slammiversary or not? Slammiversary last year. He was supposed to be inducted at Battle for Glory, but he refused after he lost his match with Rude, and he had a series of matches with Rude to try to prove himself worthy of being a contender for the Hall of Fame. And he finally beat Rude back at Genesis, and now was the ceremony, and Angle was there, accepting the award. Thank everybody. Then the EC3 would come out. Now, a few weeks back, EC3, during an Angle Magnus match, he would attack Kurt Angle and white him out storyline-wise, because apparently at the time it felt like Kurt Angle had knee injury and was about to get knee surgery. But despite that, and even EC3 said it, Angle had his ACL and MCL tear. Angle said, those tears aren't true. I am not retiring, and I shall see you at Lockdown. And these two had a little bit of a brawl. Angle just tossed EC3 out of the ring. I don't know if the match is still going to happen, but as of this moment, it feels like Angle is going to wrestle at Lockdown, unless this changes. Angle will take on EC3 at Lockdown. Also at Lockdown, we got Tigre Uno making his debut. I kind of read rumors about this guy, this Tigre Uno guy. I never really heard of him. Probably came from another organization. Probably make his TNA debut at Lockdown, as we saw by a promo tonight. So there you go. And back to Angle form, where Angle said that his match with Mr. EC3 is a gift, Hall of Fame gift from Mr. MVP. Now on to our next matchup, a Knockouts tag match, which would consist of Madison Rayne, who official, she will, speaking of matches I predicted, not only did I successfully predict that Gunner will take on Storm in a match. It'd be a one-on-one match. I also successfully predicted from last week that Madison Rayne will defend the Knockouts Championship against Gail Kim in a steel cage match at Lockdown, stemming from Gail Kim's victory by hook or crook, whittling up from Tappa in a street fight last week against Miss Rayne. It was the title. And Gail Kim's been in cage matches before, especially TNA. The place that women have balls to fight in a cage, unlike certain other companies, WWE, anywhere would have a tag team affair involving Tappa and Madison. Madison would team up with Velvet Sky to team up against Lady Tappa and the alpha female, of course, the accomplice of Chris Sabin, who were both at ringside, Sabin and Gail Kim. And the outside interference really came into play as Madison Wayne's partner, Velvet Sky, another Beautiful People reunion. Still wish Angie was there. Anyway, Velvet and Madison took control early on, and even Chris Sabin got tossed into the fray. And Velvet was trying to go for the in-your-face, but the alpha female came for the save before Velvet could execute the big move on Mr. Sabin. And the tag team match was decent. Decent little knockouts tag team matchup. Probably a lot better than Divas title match tonight on NXT. I didn't see the whole thing, but anyway, a lot of anyways tonight. But after that, Madison Rayne did get her hands on Lady Tapper, try to get involved. But of course, like I said, Gail, more specifically, Sabin would kind of be the bearer of interference as he would get involved in the ending of the matchup. As Madison took care of Tapper, and of course, Velvet wanted to get her hands on that fierce alpha female. But as Sabin was distracting the referee, and Velvet was being taken out, Gail got involved, hitting Velvet's partner Madison from behind with, I think, the belt. Helping Tapper with the referee distracted, get a big move on Miss Wayne and a 1-2-3 victory for Tapper. And Miss Alpha Female with a little help, like I said, from Tapper's friend Gail and Alpha's friend Sabin. And after the match, Velvet and Miss Velvet and Gail's opponent Madison at Lockdown were not done yet. They wanted a piece of him still. And it's kind of weird tonight that Sabin got saved from the in-your-face by Alpha Female. And Alpha Female was saved from the in-your-face by Sabin. And we would see ODB get involved as Tapper was beating up on both Velvet and Wayne. Here comes, like I said, ODB to make it even. I think ODB would team up with Velvet against Alpha Female and Tapper at the pay-per-view unless they decide to make it singles matches. Speaking of more matches be made possibly on Lockdown, possibly Sam Shaw against Mr. Anderson, stemming from last week. And this week, this whole Sam Shaw stalker gimmick with Christy Hemmings got a little bit too far. We saw what happened last week. And Sam Shaw, God, he is the worst promo guy. He was horrible on the mic. He was just horrid on the mic tonight. God, he was terrible on the mic tonight. It looked like a deer in the headlights tonight. He may have forgotten what he was saying as he was confronting Christy Hemme, and they got Anderson saved the fucking segment from going downhill. Even calling Sam Shaw, and rightfully so, a creepy bastard, or in the English accent way, creepy bastard. I said it in an English accent because the English fans will say, creepy bastard. So, it is such that. It could be called the CLB. Creepy little bastard. Chris Jericho called Christian that back in 2004. During Christian and Jericho's feud after WrestleMania 20. Anyway, so Anderson wanted a piece of Sam Shaw tonight, but Sam Shaw basically used Christy as a shield and put Mr. Anderson in some sort of choke move to take him out. So it looks like Anderson will take on Shaw at Lockdown, possibly. Not official yet. Maybe official next week. So on to our main event of the evening. Captains of the Lethal Lockdown teams. Bobby Roode against MVP. Team Dixie captain and Team MVP captain. So like I said, I'm battling a cold and allergies. Austin Aries would be our special guest referee. A lot of Aries chants during this match. And Aries was courted by both guys to join both their teams at Lockdown. Even MVP asked Aries last week. And now Roode wanted Aries. So basically, Aries being a referee would kind of determine which team he would play for. It looked like he was on an even playing field for the early half of the matchup. Aries calling the match down the middle, not showing favoritism for one specific guy. Yet, as we would see as the match progressed. And MVP looked kind of good. This is his second full match in TNA. Longer than his match in Rockstar Spot. And the MVP looked very good. Back in the ring again. Of course, he did nail the big move with the bowling. And, of course, his playmaker finisher. But, of course, Roode would come in with a vengeance in this decent little main event match. It was a good match. A decent action for both these guys. You know, they're going to get it on a Lockdown as part of the Lethal Lockdown. So I'd like to see these guys take on each other one-on-one. So, like I said, Aries was even down the middle. Called it down the middle at first. You know, like I said, no favoritism. As Roode and MVP tore each other out. And maybe both guys will try to show up to Mr. Aries. Because, like I said, both guys were courting him to join one of their teams for the Lethal Lockdown. Like I said, Bobby Roode did, after MVP, deliver his big moves. Like I said, we did see Roode deliver the... He didn't do the cross face, but we did see him do the Spine Buster move and try to set up for the Roode Bomb, his new finishing move, a definitive finishing move for Mr. Roode. And as MVP was getting back control after Roode got control, like I said, it was kind of back and forth with these guys. It's MVP after the playmaker and Roode kicking out of that move. As MVP was going for another big move, trying to get the win again after a kick in the face, and going for a big thrush kick, Aries showed his true colors and showed what team he was going to be on by hitting MVP in the face, helping Bobby Roode get the victory with the Roode Bomb in the victory. Bobby Roode gets the win, and Austin Aries joins Team Roode after screwing MVP on this matchup. Like I said, calling down the middle, but like I said, he showed his true colors. He showed who he was playing for, and showed his favoritism by helping Roode get the victory. Basically, Aries is heel again. And a lot of people are heel again. Roode's former tag team partner Storm is heel again. This ain't the first time Storm turned on a tag team partner. Need to mention him turning his back on Wildcat Chris Harris and breaking up America's Most Wanted, 2006. You know, and Roode and Storm was a decent heel in 06, in 07, 08. When he first joined Roode, he was heel. When he first joined Roode as Beer Money in 08, he was still heel. And he was a great heel. So we'll see how Roode does. Roode's partner Storm does as a heel this time around when he feels with Gunner. And now Aries is heel again. And Aries was a good heel too. So we'll see how Aries does as a heel. So, as of now, it is 3-on-3 at this point. Actually, 4-on-3. Team Roode / Team Dixie consists of Bobby Roode, Poor Man's, Jesse and Robbie, and Aries. MVP's down one guy. It's basically just MVP and the Wolves. So basically next week, MVP has to find his fourth guy to join him as per the lockdown, because lockdown is 1 week from this Sunday. So he has to find a new person next week. I don't think it's going to be Sting or someone returning. Who knows? We'll see who does join Team MVP next week. That is it. I know exactly who it is. Hardy or Willow. His new alter ego. We saw another promo from tonight. That's my prediction. Jeff Hardy's going to be... I kind of had a sneaky suspicion that Jeff Hardy was going to be a part of Team Lockdown. I had a suspicion that Hardy would be part of Lethal Lockdown. But maybe his Willow character. So we'll see which Hardy character, Hardy or Willow, will show up as Team MVP. That's my prediction. Hardy, last member of Team MVP, official next week. That is it for my TNA Impact review for this evening. With that in mind, you've all been attacked by the review from Zach. Thank you all again for watching. Have a great night and a great weekend, everybody. See ya. Yeah.